Carl and Damon here from Games, Brrraains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short. And it's They Made What into a TV series. You know what it is, it's in the title. It's our Halo review. This is episode number 7, entitled Inheritance, directed by Jessica Lowry and written by Stephen Kane. This is an episode all about Quan. Yep. This is specifically focused on her as we kind of get up to speed what she's doing and push our story to not necessarily a conclusion, but a conclusion in season 1.
Yeah.
I think that's quite important because it does conclude here and kind of like a to be continued sort of thing at the end, because after this the rest of the focus of the show, the last 2 episodes, will be on Chief and what's been going and Reach.
Yeah, because it sort of feels like this was not like a completion of her story, but obviously it's not.
No, of course, it's just the next stage almost.
Yeah.
It completes her story in regards to getting revenge on Vincia and that side of things, and certainly reveals some stuff about her father and elements like that. I really like this episode. Yeah. And I like the episode for one thing, which is just the battle, the fighting.
Yeah, the fighting's really good, yeah. Yeah,
absolutely. And we begin by going back to her earlier days of her time on Madrigal and her early defiance desire to fight the UNSC. She doesn't like being treated like a child and clashes with her father over the dinner table about the purpose of the war with the UNSC and what would happen afterwards. She's quite mean to like a new recruit soldier guy.
Yeah.
Back in modern times, Quan drives into the desert right into a dust cloud in the hope of tracking down this tribe of mystic nomads that her aunt told her about. But they find her before she finds them and she is captured. How do you feel about the whole mystic nomad tribe of women thing going on here?
Obviously, my knowledge of the game is not very good, so I don't know if they're actually in the game.
True.
So if they are, then I'll accept it. But it just seems like a bit convenient, I suppose. Yeah,
they're very much by the books, as it were. Or we're mystic and we have this secret and we're going to reveal a secret to you and all that. Yeah, I didn't really... I can't see how it's in the game because Quan isn't in the game. Do you know what I mean? That's a story element that doesn't exist.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah.
But yeah, I found it to be like, oh yeah, this is convenient. And it's like, as well, like there's no real trouble with her finding him. She just drives into the dust cloud, gets a bit lost, sees what she thinks is a person, gets out and then gets a bag put over her head.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Soren, we now catch up with Soren, who's returned to Rubble and is having a party, entertaining his guests with stories of his Spartan ways. One of his partners, who goes by the name of Squirrel, arrives and with his partner seems to be annoyed with how Soren acts now. He gets a little drunk and ends up confronting him, suggesting that he's not sharing his bounties and not working with his partners. It's a terrible idea. You know it's a terrible idea because you're like, well, Soren isn't going to take this one lying down.
No, of course not.
And he's not happy with this public defiance, especially when it's suggested that when Squirrel suggests that people are talking, saying that Soren's lost his step. Mm-hmm. But it kind of wraps up with Squirrel realising, this was a bad idea.
Yeah, he's overstepped the mark.
Yeah, backs down, apologises, and then kind of leaves, and Soren just carries on the pie. But it's not going to end there. Meanwhile, Quan wakes up in the tribe's camp and meets with her leader. She tells about her father's faith and demands to know what was told to her father when he came here. So that's the kind of what she wants to find out. My father came to see you, and when he came back, he was very different. Staunch defender, we must protect Madrigal.
Yep.
What did you tell him? But her demand is refused, as it's suggested that she's not ready for what she will see. And I didn't like that. I'm like, oh, here we go. You're not ready.
Yeah, it's like...
And I'll bet you by the end of the episode, she is.
Tests and trials.
It's even quicker than that, to be fair.
Yep.
And I don't really get what her test is either when it kind of happens.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that. Obviously, Quan isn't giving up that easily. Meanwhile, Vincia is now looking to end rebellion once and for all by finding and killing Quan. He finds out that Soren has left and sees this as an opportunity. Well, if Soren's not here, the Spartan isn't here, I can take care of her.
Yep.
Easy as that. On Rubble, Soren finds Squirrel and agrees to listen to his big score idea because it involves hitting a UNSC cargo ship, something that Soren is game for. I really like that scene.
Yes.
When he kind of... Squirrel was walking through the town being a bit of a dick to people, gets on the lift that will take him between asteroids. You get Soren's arm.
Yep.
You get a lot more shots of Soren's... I don't know what you'd call it. Disfigured arm in this here. Because he uses that to hold the door open, and then he gets on board, and the Squirrel was obviously really nervous. But no, Soren's like, no, tell me your idea.
I like it, but he does it in a sort of a clever, intimidating way.
Oh, he's very
Yeah,
intimidating.
properly.
Yeah, because what he does, because he's bigger than Squirrel as well, but he'll often stand close to him, so he's kind of leaning and tower over in him. Back with Quan, she seems to have convinced the Mystics now, and they revealed that Quan's ancestors set it on Madrigal. They dug for a well, and they found something in that well, a being. They were then charged by the being of protecting that portal that resides somewhere on this planet. So that's kind of what it is. And yeah, that's very confusing. You know, you're like, okay.
Yeah,
what?
A bit convenient, this...
I mean, convenient is as convenient does. You need to tell a story, you need to push it on. There is a certain level of that, but it doesn't answer any questions. Not just for Quan, but for us as viewers. It just, let's be honest, it creates more questions than anything else. Quan finds all this out, by the way, after drinking some liquid and going through a series of hallucinations, memories, and tests. Some that include Chief, confusingly.
Yes.
Where she's told to kind of beat, and she has to fight him to the death, but she keeps losing over and over again. But it all culminates in her seeing the well and her ancestors and speaking with her father. There is a cool shot here of where they're sort of stepping towards her, but like a sort of mirroring into each other until the last person is her father, which brings it up to date. And he calls her protector. She knows apparently what she has to do, but first she has to stop Vincha. Soren, Squirrel, and the pirates. We just see them having taken over the UNSC ship. We don't see the battle. They just are in control. And everything looks like it's going all right. That is until Soren decides to crush Squirrel's foot with a forklift and uses that to make clear just who is in charge. And you notice as well, because like Squirrel's partner, Soren's like, basically, get on the ship. Yep. She's like, sorry to Squirrel, and is just off. It's like, well, yeah, you crossed Soren, and that's a mistake.
Well, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I thought he was going to leave him, didn't you?
I did. I thought he's either going to leave him or he's going to kill him.
Yeah, I thought it'd be one of the two. Yeah. But no, he does actually release his foot, and I guess there's an argument that sends a stronger message, right?
Yeah, it's more like he needs him because of his help.
Oh, I don't think it's that. I don't think he needs him. I think it's you'll go back and tell people.
The fear factor,
he hasn't lost a step. That this is, and like you're going to be limping now. So, do you know what I mean? It ties into the whole you lost a step thing. Well, now look who's lost a step. That thing. Later, back on Rubble, talking with his wife, Soren's mind goes back to Quan, and he realizes that he made a mistake leaving her alone. So he kind of, Squirrel's words did have some effect on him as he worries about that. And then he hears that Vincha has tripled her back because he thinks she's dead, likely to be dead. And his wife's like, well, no, because Vincha tripled the bounty on her head. Mm-hmm. If she was dead, there wouldn't be a bounty.
I like that scene because you get to see again the side of a Spartan.
A Spartan, yeah.
Without the chip in it. He has guilt.
He feels guilty, he feels bad, and he also feels that he let John down. Which he will actually admit to Quan when he sees her again. Because he does head back to Madrigal to help her. The timing is great because Quan has driven back to her now deserted father's outpost. This was the outpost at this very first episode where the Covenant attacked and the Silver Team, the Master Chief and the Spartans arrived to fight. It's where we first were introduced to everybody. So that's where they've gone. Meanwhile, Vincha has captured and kills the ex-general, Quan's father's ex-general, after trying to get information out of her. Vincha has reached cartoonish level of villainy here. But I'm fine with it. I'm fine. But we know he's not going to be a major part of the story. We know it's just to wrap this part up with. I don't mind it so much. He plays it cartoony. He plays it, dare I say, video gamey. Yeah. Quan, resurfacing an outpost, is seen by Vincha's network, though, and he head off on Master Killer once and for all. That's where we go, those conveniences. Who saw her? How did they know she went there? And, okay, then just is. We need to get there, so we'll just say, Vincha's men, lookouts, whatever, saw her driving there or something. I mean, I guess it's a strong possibility that they might have thought she might go back there, so they were keeping an eye on it. But, it's no big deal. It's not stuff I find that annoying.
No, it's nothing major,
Yeah. Anyway, they surround the outpost, but despite being heavily outnumbered, Quan wants to fight back, particularly as Soren arrives to help her. Now, obviously, she's initially quite distrusting of him, but he does make it clear that I'm here to help, and I made that promise to John.
Yeah, so see, I told you I was rich.
Yeah. They have good chemistry. I think we said this before.
Yeah, definitely.
The actors have good chemistry, and the characters play off each other quite nicely. And it does result in a cool sequence of events that isn't necessarily heavily action-packed, because it's almost quite stealthy at times.
Yeah.
Soren holding off Finch's forces in a very decent mix of gunplay, stealth and hand-to-hand combat. And again, serves to remind you, he was once a Spartan.
Yep.
Kwan's idea, basically, is to detonate the outpost power supply. And she has to go on the ground to get it started. And then they can detonate. And as long as they're within the, I don't know what they call it, safe room. The one where the kids were killed in the beginning of the... But in there, apparently, it's like there's a possibility that the strength of the doors will protect them from the resulting explosion. Yeah, fine.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah, and that's how it plays out. There is a moment, like, where, well, near the end of the sequence, where Soren gets shot. Now, it's not filmed brilliantly, as I thought he would been... I thought he'd been shot in the neck.
Yeah,
he is shot in the neck, but only winged.
Yeah, it's like...
Just there, scraping his neck. But I thought he'd been killed.
That's what I thought. I was like, are you seriously...
Particularly as they kind of show him crawling and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But Kwan does manage to basically shoot the now active power supply, creating... that I thought was amazing. The explosion and effects of this, because they do it in several ways. You've got this outer thing blowing up as it goes up in the air, but you've also got this wall of flame and fire spreading throughout the outpost, which looks incredible.
Yeah, once they dive into the safe room, and then obviously when Fincher realises, oh shit.
Yeah, he tries to panic and run,
it's too late,
and you've got that whole getting engulfed by the flame things, and you're like, ooh, that's nasty.
Yeah, it's really good, yeah.
I love it. After that, Kwan then pays Soren with the money recovered from the outpost supply to honour their deal, and the two part on amicable terms. I doubt it's the last they'll see of each other, but for now, this part of the story is done. Kwan is determined to continue her mission and find the portal, the well, basically. And Soren's just going to go back to Rubble, and we'll see what happens in season 2, hopefully, I guess, because he's not in this again. Yeah, this episode has nothing to do with Chief, nothing to do with Silver Team, nothing on Reach. It is solely focused on Soren. Little bit of dealings with Squirrel, we could argue, isn't necessary for the overall episode, but it fits nicely into it, I guess. Yeah. And Kwan and what she's going to be doing going forward.
Yeah, and it shows that even without Master Chief, it's still a very, very strong episode.
Agreed. Yeah. Agreed, because Kwan needed this. She needed to have a reason to exist beyond my father was killed, I want revenge.
Yeah, she's been very
because
quiet,
that's so by the books. But now there's a bigger thing, and it ties into the world of Madrigal as well. That's interesting. That's exciting. I don't know Halo well enough to know at all what a well portal is and what it means, and is it a transport to a Halo ring and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see where that goes in season 2. But yeah, I thought she was great in this. I thought there's a lot more acting, better acting. I thought the characters are now beginning to feel more realised, so I'm getting a bit more into them. Yep. Just thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, you can only probably guess that probably she's going to start rebuilding the rebellion, I suppose. And
well, the UNC and SC aren't just going to let Madrigal go carry on after Fincher's been killed, you know? So there is that aspect of things as well. But it might be bigger than that. It might be more important. You know, there will be an eventual, I'd suspect, reunion between her and John for whatever reasons. That will be really, really cool. This is a great episode. It might stand out more, I think, if it wasn't for what follows.
Yes.
That's personal choice. I don't know. Basically, as much as I enjoy the Kwan stuff and as much as I enjoy the Soren stuff, I am very much a whole give me Chief. Particularly as what we've got to at this point with
Halsey and all that.
Yeah, Halsey and all that. So and McKee, I'm looking forward to talking about episode 8 in particular. Yep. Stay made what into a TV series. This is Halo episode 7 Inheritance. You got any thoughts on it? You know what to do. Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please help us out by giving us a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. If you really liked what you saw, consider donating to keep the website and channel running by buying us a coffee via our coffee page or picking up some merch from our Big Cartel store. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as via our social media, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, as well as listen to our interviews via SoundCloud, Apple Music and Spotify. Just search for GBHBL. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?